So we're on Sky Temple. So fantastic. We're not on Dragon Town. We're not on Cursed Hollow. We're on the Sky Temple. Which is going to be a great little map here for this. First ban out was that Sonya. Obviously did a lot of work for the Polando Boys in the last game. Infinity not wanting to face it, so they do ban that out. In response, Polando Boys banning out the Jaina. Infinity eSports first picking Uther, since that's what he's there. He's very, very strong right now, and picking that up. Fantastic there. And Polando Boys immediately responding with the Abathur Illidan. Now, Abathur Illidan is a fantastic little combo we've seen for quite a while. Abathur able to perfect that Illidan, make a clone, and Illidan's able to go ham on your team can be a terrifying thing.
Yeah,
also,
definitely.
lots of different combos you can do with Illidan. You've got the Abathur to back him up. If you really want to go all in, you can take a Morales there, who will be able to keep that Illidan healed up, and also take the Stim Drone to be able to allow him to go even more ham. So the Abathur Illidan is going to be the core comp of Polando Boys' team, and we would see how they would fill that out.
Yeah, and
so
now I would actually assume with Illidan they would go with a warrior who would complement him, like an ETC to increase his attack speed, or something, or somebody with a lot of lockdown, like a Johanna or a Muradin, like a tank that's good. That's a good counter to Illidan. So Muradin's actually a good counter to Illidan, which is why we see Infinity pick Muradin up straight away, and they're going to go with Kael'thas as well. A pick they've been favouring, or at least these teams have been favouring this series.
So loading up that Muradin, and they got stuns from the Muradin and stuns from the Uther, and stuns can really shut down an Illidan. If he can't get the attacks off, he can't heal up, and he can't stay in the fight as long as he otherwise would.
Yep. So after the Muradin Kael'thas, we're going to have the Zeratul ban out for Polando, not wanting to go up against that. And Infinity then going to follow up with a ban from Tassadar, so they don't want Illidan to be paired with Tassadar plus a healer. They could even go for a zero tank composition in that if they went with Tassadar with the lingering shields plus the Abathur head, and then put a healer on top of that. You don't need a tank because Illidan will have so much health to work with there, so much effective health with the healing and with the shields. So a smart ban out there, and that's why we probably saw it coming out from Infinity. So after the Tassadar ban, we're going to get the next double pickup from Polando, which is going to be Zagara and Tyrael. Now Tyrael, as I was saying, is a tank who can actually help Illidan out because he provides shields. So we're kind of getting this feel that it is all in on Illidan. Yes, Tyrael's really good for the hard engage, but he's not that good as a solo tank. Right now, I see him there as a lockdown somebody for Illidan to go on. You blow up one target with the Illidan, and the rest of the team's going to be running away, and Illidan is going to clean up shop really, and that's what he does best.
Yeah, both heroics there being useful for the Tyrael in this sort of composition as well, because he can either take Sanctification if he's there with the Illidan to keep the Illidan alive for a little while longer while the Illidan is fighting, or instead he can take the Judgment to dive with the Illidan and try and get one of those targets bursted down to stop some of the damage coming out. So good there. The Zagara also rounds the composition off instead of just being all about that. Illidan's going to give them some range damage, allow some siege there. And then Infinity, following up with their double pick up a Tychus and a Thrall.
I know, two heroes we don't tend to see. Thrall, one of the... I'm not going to say least popular melee assassins. It's just like not many melee assassins are picked up in general. We'll normally see Kerrigan because of the combos she brings, and we'll see Illidan because there's Illidan-centric compositions. Butcher is picked up because of his stun and his damage potential, but then Thrall and who else? Thrall and Zeratul we're not going to see so much. We've not seen so much, especially this patch, because they're just not on the same level as the other melee assassins. But Infinity go for that Thrall, which is really great to see, and I think this Thrall is going to do some work if he's able to not get locked down. And in fact, Polando Boys has very little lockdown. They have the initial stun from Tyrael. They have Devouring Morph from Zagara and occasional Polymorph from Brightwing. Remember, Polymorph doesn't last very long. So Thrall going to be able to do some work.
Locked in at this point, so they obviously didn't know which support was coming. And I wonder if the Brightwing is actually forced out by that Thrall, in the Polando Boys say, hey, we need a support, but we don't have any way
Yes.
to lock down
some
the thrall,
form of
and
lockdown. I definitely think that's
why they take the Brightwing there.
But also, Polando Boys did pick up Brightwing in game number 1, so maybe they're favouring this Brightwing, trying to prove how good she can be.
Yeah, especially the map manoeuvrability is going to do a lot of work for them on Sky Templars. When you have the 2 temples up, that you can dart from the one to the other if you do split your forces and do that. Tychus, interesting pickup. He deals a lot of damage in a small area, but isn't very manoeuvrable to get around and out of that area. So I feel he's been picked up to try and counter the Illidan. The Illidan dives into your comp, and the Tychus deals with him when he's inside your team. But we'll see how it does play out there.
Yeah, and then, as we've said, the final pick was that Brightwing. I'm super happy to see this. I think Sky Temple is yet another map that Brightwing's particularly good on. Hang on a sec, I'm just... I think my sound levels have gone a bit odd, so I'm going to see if I can sort that out for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that appears to be much better, so sorry if there was any extreme background noise during this. And Inception in the chat saying this draft's so crazy. You should know, man, you did it. You guys did it. So here we go, Polando Boys. Not allowing Infinity's Inception to have the Zagara, in fact. That's something else I'd like to point out, Ian. As almost a respect kind of takeaway pick, although Zagara just a solid hero. So probably not, that wasn't the line of thinking, but I like to think it was.
Yeah, I was wondering whether that Zagara could have been just to take it away from Inception or not, but yeah. Okay, cool. So, should we see how these guys do on the Sky Temple?
Yeah, very much so. So let's get into this game. I'm not going to be able to see the winner, and I'm going to hide the time of the match as quickly as possible, so you guys won't know how long this match is. Although Nick and I both know, we have discussed this.
Do we?
So yeah, well, you asked me. And
I haven't.
Told you.
No, you haven't. I have not seen who wins this match. This is all a surprise to me, and I'm going to keep it that way.
You asked me, and I told them.
So we're going to Sky Temple. Objective of Sky Temple is to capture the temples. There are 3 of them over the map. There is the Jade, the Snake, and the Crocodile Temple.
No, it's the Snake, the Jackal, and
the Jackal. That's it. Sorry.
And the Crocodile.
Yes, Jackal, not Jade. You claim the temples and they will shoot your enemy's base for you. 2 will be up a maximum at a time, and they can be anywhere in the map. Normally starts with the top and the mid, going to the bottom, and I can't remember the order from then, so don't ask me. Instead, we're going to introduce these teams. Over on the blue side, hang on.
It is Polando Boys. So we're going to have
They've decided to swap.
Playing the Zagara. Going to have Doctor, the support player on that. Toothless Skin Brightwing. Zadoon playing the Tyrael with a good Seraphim skin there. Kreese, not on Tyrande this game, instead playing the Abathur, so we'll see how well he does on that. And Zrakawani, the team captain, playing that all-important Illidan, as this is an Illidan-centric composition.
And over there for Infinity eSports, we have Inception, this time rocking Kael'thas. We have Kren once again on that Muradin. Shavatus is going to be playing Uther for the 2nd time tonight. Pandar is rocking Thrall, and we'll see how he does outside of his tanks. And Macula is on that Tychus.
Yeah, so level 1 talents, nothing particularly crazy going on here, although because we have some unusual picks, I'm going to highlight the Thrall has gone with the increased chain lightning range. Interesting. I'm not too clued up on my Thrall builds, as we don't tend to see Thrall at all, and we're going to get an overkill build come out of Tychus, so a very typical build come out of him. Even though we've not seen him for a while, that's how he's kind of always been built.
Zrakawani was very cautious there. Infinity eSports had set up a party bush waiting for Zrakawani to come in and start getting those minions, but Zrakawani opting to stand because he couldn't see the other guys anywhere on the map.
Illidan,
so just staying
very good 1v1, but put him against a couple and he's going to get blown up, especially in the early game when he lacks a lot of his tanking talents.
Yeah, if you guys want to know how to play Illidan, one of the best ways to play him is to build him tanky and just survive in the fight as long as you can, because you'll put down the damage anyway. So we'll see if that's how Zrakawani does play him. Both just trading temples at the moment. We're going to see the mid-temple. Kren is going to have a look at who's there, but there are 3 members of Polando Boys, so opting not to stick around. There are 3 members of Infinity eSports up top near that temple, though, and they're going to keep trying to soak all 3 lanes.
Yes,
while
I
this
would like
is
to
all
know they
going
do
on.
have this thrall down in bottom, but Kreese on the Abathur able to soak this lane quite happily by himself. So, global presence coming out from Polando Boys here, and potentially an experience, not experience advantage, but a temple advantage gained from this. Although both teams content with trading out a temple one.
Yeah, so on Temple's traded,
Although
some damage
there's
put
a
down.
big push with this with the mid temple being taken by Polando Boys. They're going to push onto this fort and actually deal a bit of damage on top of that, just themselves with right clicks.
Yeah, so damage being put all around. We will probably see things slow down a little bit now until the next temple phase, as neither team really having pulled a massive advantage. There is a half level actually for Infinity eSports due to that soaking that they did in all 3 lanes. So not too bad for them. And we see 4 members moving up top here. Going to see if they can push onto that top fort.
Yeah, no, this is very, very clever. You don't want to allow this top fort to, stay particularly healthy, because if Abathur is able to hide out behind it, then the top lane's going to push as you're trying to all fight for that bottom temple, presumably, and they end up taking the fort. Infinity Esports do, and which means they don't even need to take their bruiser camp to help push up this top lane as that bottom temple spawns, which it should do around the 4-minute and 10-second mark.
So trading some of that experience lead in order to make Abathur's life a little bit harder. Definitely a interesting choice there,
Yeah,
but we'll see if it does pay off for them.
They still have the experience advantage, but you have to remember they took the entirety of the fort with that, so they should even be further ahead than what they were. But like you say, they sacrificed a bit of their lead by not soaking all the lanes in order to take that fort.
We're going to have a siege giant fight going on in the bottom, but Kandar's there to even it out for Infinity, and their siege giants are going to go and live a little bit longer.
Hard camp has been taken in the top left by Polando Boys, but it's not actually been captured yet. And Kreese is waiting there as the Abathur to capture it for that bottom temple to spawn.
So Infinity Esports taking their bruiser camp up on top. There's a Dune to Eldrin Might in to stop them from claiming it. Kren is trying to stay alive, but eventually they do fall, and Polando Boys take that off of Infinity Esports. So both camps there going to be in favour of Polando Boys, and they're going to push
whilst
on that
the Tyrael
top lane.
did fall, he's going to come back in time for this temple. He's going to run straight down there, throw and go his way in, and be full health and mana, ready for this fight. So a big push happening up in the top lane, or at least it would have been. They had to defend, leave the Macula team captain on the Tychus there to defend against that hard camp.
But that does mean it's going to be a 4 versus 4 down in the bot lane, but the only person staying top is that Abathur, who's able to help out with the hat.
Jump in.
Yeah. So definitely in favour of Polando Boys at the moment, and they are just sitting back happily and taking this
Talking
temple.
about in favour of Polando Boys, remember Abathur can jump onto buildings to shield them from some temple shots, and he's taken Mule. Mule at level 7 is something we see a lot of Abathurs taking, but it's particularly good on this map. And I'm feeling a bit scared for Infinity Esports at this point, just because I don't think if it gets to the latest of the game, like the really late game, I think that the Mule is going to do so much work that it's going to be really hard to beat out Polando Boys in a war of attrition.
Yeah, the Mule is a fantastic choice here, because if you're quite often those temples will leave your forts or your towers at a random health. They're not going to just outright destroy them, and the Mule in between temples is going to be able to heal them back up, reload them, and that next temple that the enemy tries to take, maybe they look out a fight and get one on you, he's going to be redoing the damage it's already done. So Mule definitely a fantastic choice here.
So I just brought up the score screen there, completely covering the screen for a moment there. Interesting, we're going to have an Earthquake out from the Thrall here. So that's cool to see. And Divine Storm from Uther. Very unusual picks coming out here for Infinity. Draken Lasers and not the Odin. That's not that unusual, because we kind of see Odin maybe 60-40% of the time compared to the Draken Laser. Earthquake not seen in comparison to Sunder, and Divine Storm not really seen in comparison to Divine Shield, although it used to be the go-to heroic.
I'm also going to point out that Abathur's opted to take Evolve Monstrosity instead of taking the...
Yeah, Tyrael's gone with Sanctification. What is this game?
What are they doing to us right now? Big fight coming out. Metamorphosis coming out from Illidan. But Krang going to pop his avatar in response to that. The laser drill is coming out and going to put down loads of damage there for Infinity eSports. They're wrecking their way through the team.
Yeah, so much so. I mean, that they were fighting under the laser. They couldn't really target it because it was in a massive heroes. Illidan got picked out quite happily by the Kael'thas, and Tyrael just wasn't able to do enough. And the Sanctification came out a little bit too late. It makes your team immune, but it came out just after the Zagara Maw. So the heroes, if they had been immune by the Sanctification when the Zagara Maw came out, they actually wouldn't have been hit by the Maw. They would have been pushed out of it. But because the Sanctification came out just as the Maw was hitting, in fact after the Maw had hit, the heroes inside the Maw still got taken in, they still took the damage, and it didn't really do much.
Not a complete loss to the Polando Boys though. That Abathur Monstrosity was up in the top and is able to take a fort out before Kael'thas is going to be able to deal with it, which means Kael'thas isn't anywhere near these two temples which have just spawned here. So Infinity opting to go for the middle and claim that as their own, and Polando Boys opting to go for the top, and neither really looking at fighting the other right now.
If you see right now, the Abathur Mule's healing up that bottom fort, and that's going to be especially effective since this since the temple that Infinity eSports is taking will be hitting this middle fort first before it transitions down to the bottom fort. And I don't think it will even destroy the bottom fort, not without help from the team, and we see that coming out now with the Tigers there as well. But those shots not going to finish off that middle fort immediately, but Infinity going to come in and clean that up. If there had been a full-on defence, then Polando Boys could have potentially saved it and healed it up with Mule, but 1-for-1 temples, and the bottom fort going to be healed up again with the Mule, just constantly, every time it's off cooldown, which it should be very, very shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah. So Infinity eSports opting to go and take their siege camp, and going to get that push back onto that bottom fort, see if they can stop it being healed up by the Mule. And but in response, it looks as though the camps are also going to be picked up for Polando Boys. So
yeah. Now I'm going to bring attention to the Thrall's build again, because he's an unusual hero. So we've got Rolling Thunder level 1, Ride the Lightning, so an additional 2 hits from Chain Lightning coming out level 4, and in fact Engagement's going to come out here. Probably.
Cool. So we do see the Eldrin's Might in there to try and start something from the Tyrael, but Infinity eSports don't want to fight. Not at the moment. There we go. We did 2 turnaround. There's a Phoenix thrown in. They picked that Tyrael up. Illidan's going to come in with his Metamorphosis, but the drill comes straight down. He's going to take quite a bit of damage, but he does take the drill out. Meanwhile, he's going to try to take the Tychus down. Tychus is trying to stay alive, and he does. We see 3 heroes go down in that fight, and no one falls for Infinity eSports. So another well-played team fight for them. This Illidan not doing the work Polando Boys want it to.
Yeah, the Sanctification came down, but Infinity eSports were already on the retreat, so they just moved out of the location where it would be effective at all, and basically null and voiding that ultimate coming out from Tyrael. Not really doing work that it meant to. They want to take an engagement and stay in a place, because that's where best Polando Boys can fight. Now, the Thrall build, just covering that again, the extra Chain Lightning, follow through. If the Feral Spirit hitting an enemy, its cooldown is halved, which is really good for lockdown and during fights, and the Chain Lightning to hold 2 charges to be used in quick succession is really, really strong out from the Thrall. So a Chain Lightning build, for the most part, coming out. And like I say, the Illidan not really able to do the work he needs to, and getting picked out hugely again. I want to say though, most of the damage for Infinity eSports is coming out of the Kael'thas. I'm actually going to show that on the leaderboard. Tyrael's drill didn't get killed, and that was able to go for the full duration. It almost died, it didn't quite fully die, and that means he's keeping up with the Kael'thas on damage, but the Kael'thas Change Bomb just absolutely melting the Tyrael and the Illidan as soon as they get close.
So an interesting situation here. Thrall is down solo on this temple, and no one really opting to fight. Instead, they're trying to push in the top lane, and a fight's going to come out here for Infinity eSports, who are going to try and defend that. Tyrael is being taken low. Illidan has already fallen. The Sanctification not able to save Tyrael, and he does fall. The avatar from
he
Kren
Eldrin mighted himself. He Eldrin mighted himself.
Oh, nice dwarf toss to dodge the Maw there, and a nice shrink ray coming up. So it does look like Zagara is also going to fall.
Yeah, I mean Tyrrell he throw and go. He used throw and go, so his Eldrin's might to teleport in on top of the Illidan to try and Sanctification survive him. Keep him alive. However, it was like half a second too late, and the Illidan died and wasn't able to get himself alive, and that put the Tyrrell in a bad position since he'd already used his throw and go to throw and stay, and that meant that he ended up dying.
So the Mule trying to do some work in the bottom and stop the damage that had been put on from that temple that Thrall had claimed, and just keep ticking that fort up. Meanwhile, Infinity wanted to pressure it, but Polando show up and say no. So instead, opting to take their siege guys, and they're going to rotate upwards. But the boss is now open. Polando Boys see this and decide to start taking it.
Yeah, which is a bit of an unusual choice. It's a very risk-heavy choice. Now, if Infinity see and scout this out, which they do very, very quickly, they're not going to be able to take this. They're going to have to back off. And however, if Infinity was moving up and going to, say, take their Bruiser Camp as 5, then they would have been able to take that boss. No worries. So, high risk, high reward, and it turned out neither really happened.
Yeah, so that boss reset. Temples are going to come up, and I think this is going to be another fight for the Temples. They're going to go and take their Bruiser Camps just before the Temples do spawn. So while those fights are going to happen, the Bruisers are going to push, which is going to start to threaten those inner keeps there, as they nothing left standing for the Polando Boys except those keeps, and the same on the other side for Infinity eSports.
Yeah, now this would be the time to try and take the boss here for Polando Boys. Since they're not even committing to the top temple, and I think they're waiting to see whether or not anyone is committing. Kren actually coming down to scout out whether the boss is being attempted. And the Zagara creep for me on this replay is actually covering the temple that the boss comes out of.
Yeah, it is. It's all over the place for me as well. They are opting to go for this boss. Before. And Infinity eSports know it's happening, though, are just waiting to strike, and
they're leaving Thrall on that temple, still soloing it, although he is coming down now just as his boss drops low. Gonna have a big Phoenix come down here, the Judgment and the Divine Storm coming out from the Uther mean the Bright One's gonna fall immediately. The good Zagara devouring more, trying to save her life. It's not going to do so, but it does mean that the boss is secured for Polando Boys. And they just all got blown up though off the back of there. They have a boss, but they're all dead for 40 seconds, and I feel like Infinity eSports is just going to come through, push this fort, take it. Push the keep, take it, and immediately go for core. If they don't, then they might in fact lose their core to the boss. And look how much damage is done there. Super quickly down, and Doctor's going to call GG for Polando Boys. Infinity eSports potentially taking this game. GG out from Lust. Abathur not able to save the core. This is a very committed push. The Mule coming down, not able to heal it out.
Abathur, where are your slaps?
Well played out for Infinity. Well played by Polando as well. They lost the first game, came back in the second game, and ultimately did lose in the third game to not a usual draft. And on top of that, they picked up the Uther. Infinity did against eSports, against Polando Boys, but Divine Storm, not Divine Shield. So just a lot of stuns, I think, coming out against this Illidan.
Just wanted to lock that Illidan out. Instead of wanting to deal with the Illidan damage, they just wanted to lock him up and make sure there was nothing that happened there. In that last team fight over the boss, though, one thing that Polando Boys did make a tiny little mistake on, the Zagara was just outside of the Sanctification, so as soon as the rest of the team went immune, the laser drill just turned to Zagara and wrecked her. So if she had been inside that Sanctification, that team fight could have potentially gone a completely different way.
Yeah, definitely could have. Now the chat is asking for another giveaway, but unfortunately there will not be one. That is that for tonight. So sorry that the finals did not happen yesterday, and that's what the giveaway was mostly there to kind of give compensation for. So thanks for joining us. If you did, remember all the VODs will be up on YouTube, and that will be on eSports Wall. YouTube/eSportsWall, as well as YouTube/Failhouse Gaming, both of which I will be uploading to. So I'm actually just going to throw my YouTube up in the chat right now. So chat will get my message before they hear my explanation, but that's right up there. And this has been from my channel since eSportsWall has been hosting their Hearthstone tournament, which might still be ongoing.
I believe it is, at the moment.
Yeah, so that's still ongoing. So go over to eSportsWall's Twitch channel and watch out the rest of the Hearthstone tournament. Remember to follow on Twitter. You can follow me and Lustriger. I'm at Stefan Heroes. Nick is at Lustriger. And follow eSportsWall at eSportsWall. Subscribe to the YouTubes, all the good stuff.
And we'll see you guys next week for another Heroes of the Storm tournament.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get it all done in the first day. And if not, then we might be changing up, because the tournaments are getting bigger. We might change up the format a little bit, but we will keep all teams, all participants, and everybody informed on that. But there will be a tournament on Wednesday, so stay tuned and keep looking out on that social media, and you'll find out just when it goes live. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and until next time.
Bye bye.